The year is 1877. The Dakota Territory is a grim and desolate place, but in the small town of Sweet Ravine, law and order rules. The keeper of that peace is the most feared gunslinger west of the Mississippi. Hold on to those 10-gallon hats as we present the adventures of Sheriff Rawhide Laww. Throughout history, there have been calls for physicians to heal themselves. In Sweet Ravine, such comments would be in the poorest of taste at the present time, for Doc Winters has finally succumbed to the inevitable. But life must go on, and indeed, there is a celebration of life taking place as we speak.
For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
Oh, thank you.
It's not every day the town deputy turns 16.
How did you know? I didn't tell anyone except Slim.
And thus the logical conclusion would be...
He is the biggest blabbermouth in town, Kitty.
Sir, you didn't call me Pipsqueak.
That is your birthday present? Today only. I wouldn't want you getting a swelled head.
Thank you.
Oh, and there was one other thing. You'll want to start carrying this around.
Ah, Sweet Ravine, where firearms are the gift that keep on giving.
But this is my gun.
Well, of course. I just gave it to you.
No, I mean it's the one I brought to town with me. You told me you gave it to the blacksmith to melt it down.
Did I? Well, then that must be what happened. We all know I would never lie to a trigger-happy 15-year-old nuisance now, don't we?
Thank you.
You are welcome, Kitty.
And this one is from me.
A checkerboard.
You can use it for that, but it'd be a waste of these here chess pieces. I whittled them myself.
Which you can tell because there's no clear way to tell the rooks from the queens.
Caleb, you might not want to take up a career as a professional whittler.
That's an option?
Apparently not for you.
I don't really know how to play chess.
You'll be better at it than you were at playing cards.
Sheriff, you better come quick. There's some kind of fracas going on over at the Doc's old place.
Anyone I know?
Oh, Barnabas got a burr under his saddle about something or other. I don't know who the other feller is. Some city slicker by the look of him.
Lovely. Kitty, let's go find out if you can safely keep that pea shooter holstered for an entire day or not.
Oh, sorry to spoil your party, Miss Kitty.
Duty calls, Sam.
You take that back.
Mister, I'm not saying no, but what precisely do you want me to take back?
You take back what you said about my sister.
I don't recall saying anything about your sister.
You said my sister was a woman of loose morals.
Oh, no. You mentioned she'd been complaining of a toothache. I said I'd be happy to check if she had any loose molars.
I just bet you would. But I don't cotton to talk like that about my sister.
You leave my brother alone, you little troglodyte.
What did that hussy just call me?
She called you a troglodyte.
And then you call her a hussy, so I think that's about even, don't you, Sheriff?
You know, I'm not sure there. He probably does qualify as a troglodyte. We can all see that. I've seen no evidence that the term hussy was called for.
It most assuredly was not, you brute.
Ow!
All right, that's enough. Young lady, what is your name?
Jessie Malone.
And I'm Silas Malone, Sheriff. This has all been a misunderstanding.
Silas, let me stop you there. First off, I wasn't addressing you. While I do sympathize with your desire to stick up for your sister, you'd do much better to wait until I give you some indication that your input is called for. Now, the second thing is that myself and my deputy heard enough of what came before. We understand already that this was, as you say, a misunderstanding. Ain't that right, Kitty?
Is a molar a kind of a tooth?
It is.
Oh, then I understood it right enough.
Good. So what we had here was some ugly words all caused because Barnabas did not understand the difference between molars and morals. I personally blame Reverend Michaels for that. Still, all that transpired here was a collection of words. Nobody's nose ever got broken by a word. This all could have been worked out nice and peacefully, right up until you decided to lay into young Barnabas with what I confess was an impressive left cross.
You heard what he called me.
I did. And if you had waited about 2 minutes, you'd probably have received an apology once everything was settled. That's ignoring the fact that you called him a name first. I have it in my mind to run you in for assault.
That's not...
Jesse, please. Sheriff, may I speak now?
By all means, young Silas.
Mr. Barnabas, wasn't it? I apologize for using terminology that you weren't familiar with. I should have done a better job of expressing myself. Now, you appear to still be bleeding a bit, and if you would be willing, I am more than happy to examine your injury and, in fact, to provide services for your whole family free of charge for any ailments they may currently be experiencing. If this is amenable, perhaps you might ask the sheriff to let my sister's rash behavior pass by in this instance.
I'm sorry, Silas, but I feel like I might have missed something here.
Oh, good, 'cause I didn't understand a word of it.
My apologies to you both. Perhaps I should explain. I've come to take over Dr. Winter's practice here in Sweet Ravine.
You are a doctor?
Yes, I realize I'm rather young, but I assure you I am qualified. I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania 2 years ago at the age of 16, and I received my medical degree earlier this year.
My brother, the genius.
He certainly is the smarter of the two of you, young lady.
Sir, I don't think Barnabas is hurt that bad, and the doctor did say he'd take care of things. Maybe we can just let this go.
Barnabas?
I ain't gonna make a woman go to jail for being uppity. Doesn't hurt anyway. But you just better watch yourself, Sawbones. Next time you might not have your sister's skirts to hide behind.
Well, I am less happy than I would like to be, but I suppose that puts an end to that.
Thank you, Sheriff. And you as well, Miss Kitty, was it? I very much appreciate it.
That's not,
I believe she means to say, welcome to Sweet Ravine, Doctor.
I know some people don't think much about puns. They think they're some stupid joke. The truth is, they're very important.
Really?
Sure, your puns protect all the other pieces. And at the beginning of the game, well, you can't move nothing but the puns. Well, except the nuts, of course.
The nuts?
Sure, they call them that because they're the only pieces that can break out of the shell those puns are creating. And then, once you move the nuts, you open things up a bit for the rugs to move.
The rugs?
Sure. They can't really go nowhere since they're tucked in the corners like that, so we call them the rugs, since they kinda just lie around at first. Now this piece...
Stop. I do not know what malapropism you were about to use for Bishop, but I'm sure it can't be good.
All right, make some room here.
Miss Annie, do you want me to get that for you?
I got it, Mr. Law. If I can lug around this here weight in my belly, I can handle a few drinks. 2 sarsaparillas?
Here.
Me too.
And a beer.
Thank you, Miss Annie.
What's this? A chess set? I never saw 3 people playing chess before.
You still haven't.
So, Miss Annie, any idea when the blessed event might occur?
It can't come blessed soon enough, if you ask me. But don't worry. If it's anything like the last 4, when the time comes, you'll be able to hear me cussing from just about any spot in town. Hey, Davy! I told you I was going to get you that drink. I'm carrying a baby. I'm not an invalid. So just sit yourself right back down there. Now, Davy, you just hold your horses. I'm a-coming. How goes the game?
Sam was just trying to get his nut out of the way of the rug.
You really did a terrible job whittling.
This is not my fault.
Just please do not explain. Davy!
I said I got it.
That poor boy has been trying to go to the necessary for the past 20 minutes. Every time he moves, she yells at him.
You could say something.
I could, but that would reduce the entertainment value, which is the only reason I hired a pregnant woman to serve drinks.
I thought you hired her to give her and her husband a leg up since they lost so much of their crop in that frost.
That would be charity, which a proud woman like Annie would never accept. I needed her help because of the bunion, which is making it difficult to walk.
You have a bunion?
Nope.
I propose a toast to the obfuscation of altruism.
Hear, hear.
You understood that?
Of course I did.
I'll explain it later.
Thank you.
Mr. Laww, you got some education, don't you?
When they reformed the Naval Academy after the war, I attended for a couple of years. Didn't finish, but they drilled some concepts into me.
Can I ask you something then?
My semi-educated mind is at your disposal.
Oh, well, what do educated men like? I mean, in girls.
I'll just go ask Annie to bring you something stronger than a sarsaparilla, shall I?
You're abandoning me?
Gotta walk off this pain in my bunion.
So, you'd like to know what educated men look for in women?
It's not important.
Is this about that new doctor who rolled into town? You fancying him, Miss Kitty?
No, I barely just met him. I'm just...
So, we are having a purely hypothetical conversation?
What?
You're not asking about anyone in particular, and I am not being called on to discuss my own preferences regarding the fair sex with a 16-year-old girl?
Right. Just a high and pathetic conversation.
That I can do on just a sarsaparilla. The answer to your question is that there is no one answer. Some educated men like a quiet woman who will listen. Some want a talkative woman who they can listen to. There's really nothing to gain by worrying about that sort of thing, Kitty. People are like pies. And if someone likes a cherry pie, then they like a cherry pie. If they don't, well, there's no way to make a cherry pie taste like an apple pie, and only a lot of heartache lies in trying to make it do that. Best just ask someone if they might have a hankering for cherry pies, and if they don't, well, no harm, no foul. You see what I'm saying?
I think I do. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Laww.
You're a mite hungry, ain't you, Caleb?
Set up the board, Sam.
Yes?
Hello, Ms. Malone. I wanted to welcome you and the doctor to Sweet Ravine.
Is that a cherry pie?
Yeah, the temperance ladies helped me. I'm not great with bacon.
Well, that's nice of you. Deputy Kitty, was it?
Oh, everyone just calls me Kitty.
Come on in. Silas isn't in at the moment.
Oh.
All right. How bad do you have it for him?
What?
Don't worry, it's something only another woman could see. He caught your eye. I get it. Okay, I don't at all, but I'm his sister, and I'm not really supposed to.
Maybe I should go.
If you want. That's up to you, but I have no objection to you staying. My brother is a sweet little man who I suspect is going to be eaten alive out here in the frontier. You seem like a nice young woman with a big heart. That pairing sounds just about right to me. And besides, if I can get him paired off right out of the gate, he won't bother me so much when I see if there aren't some heads worth turning in this town.
Let's just not jump the gun here.
I don't think I am. You remind me of some of the young ladies he was courting back east. Not that there were a lot of them with his studies. This has potential. Though, if I might offer a little bit of advice.
What?
Maybe don't wear the gun when you come see him. He can't stand the things. Or violence of any kind, honestly. He wouldn't raise a finger against a man who was about to flay him alive. It's his Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm.
He swore not to do anything mean to hippos?
Why don't you sit down, Kitty? Sounds like we have lots to talk about.
All right, Cletus. That doctor be coming around the curve in the road soon enough. You got that dead rattler?
Right here. I picked up a big fat one.
Good. When I tell you to, you throw that on the ground and it'll spook his horse. If he's a bad rider, it'll knock him off and he'll get what's coming to him. If he's a good rider, why, we'll jump out, knock him off his horse, and he'll get what's coming to him. That'll even the score for his sister get my nose out joint.
Seems fair to me, Brother Barnabas.
Don't call me Brother Barnabas.
But, Barnabas, you're my brother.
Yes, but when you call me Brother Barnabas, you make me sound like a preacher man.
Is that a bad thing?
We are about to knock a man off his horse by throwing a snake at him. Does that sound like something a preacher man would do?
Shoot, Barnabas, you know I ain't read the whole Bible. Maybe that's somewhere towards the back.
Well, there ain't.
I always find it fascinating when someone is about to do something they know perfectly well is wrong and bad. Seems like that would be enough of a deterrent, but no. Usually it requires that I also be standing nearby.
Thunderation, Brother Barnabas! It's the sheriff!
I know who it is, and don't call me Brother Barnabas!
Boys, let me sum this up for your benefit. You were about to commit a crime which might have ended up with somebody dead. This was all due to your being sore about a woman punching you, even though you told me not 6 hours ago that it didn't even really hurt. Also, the man you were trying to kill was not, in fact, the person that hit you. Since we've had a few religious references already, allow me to paraphrase a line from the good book. Vengeance is mine, saith the law. I decide who gets punished in this town and how. Unless we need to get a judge involved. You two do not get to decide to punish someone, particularly not with a method involving a dead snake, and even more particularly not when you told me you didn't want to put anyone in a jail cell.
You saw what happened.
I saw it 6 hours ago, too. You remember 6 hours ago when I asked you what you had to say, and you told me you didn't want to make a big deal about a woman getting uppity? Well, considering they don't make 'em much more uppity than me, I should get a pay raise for letting that comment slide. But instead, I had to follow you two imbeciles around all day, since I knew for absolute certain that you'd be pulling a stunt like this.
You been following us?
Are you seriously trying to sound indignant about the fact that you're a terrible liar and I caught you at it?
What do we do, Barnabas?
Run, you idiot! She can't catch us both!
Oh, Barnabas, wait! Hey. Ow! Oh, you shot my leg!
Why do they always say that as though I don't know? Look, Cletus, you were fixing to run. I didn't much want you to run, and now you ain't.
You didn't shoot Barnabas.
The word missing from that sentence is yet. You were closer, and by the time I would have gotten a shot off at your brother, he was past that little ridge. I could have shot him, but it wouldn't have been in the leg. And the mayor frowns on me shooting anybody in the back. But I do have some good news for you, Cletus.
What's that?
There'll be a doctor coming to look at that leg in just a few minutes.
We have a doctor?
Well, the bullet passed clean through and honestly didn't hit anything major. You keep that wound clean, Cletus, and the worst you'll have is a bad scar.
I feel like that was a grudging piece of respect for my handiwork.
I'm good at my job, Sheriff, but no treatment I can provide is better for a bullet wound than not having a bullet wound. Besides, you can't have planned to do this so cleanly.
Tell me that 5 gunshots from now.
Here, let me get that door for you, Dr. Malone.
Thank you, Kitty. All through medical school, no one ever suggested I'd need to perform medicine inside a jail cell.
Well, you sure did a right good job. I filled this basin with some water so you can wash up.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yow!
What happened?
Just still a little too hot, that's all. On the stove for just a little too long, I expect.
Kitty, go fill the coffee pot with some water from the well. That'll cool it down.
I'm so sorry, Doctor.
Oh, it's fine. And please, call me Silas.
You mean it?
Kitty, water.
Oh, right. I'll be just a moment, Silas. Oh, dear. Sir, you might want to come look at this.
Barnabas?
Yes, sir.
Funny, I expected him 10 minutes ago. Now, Barnabas, let's have us a... Oh, tarnation.
I want my brother out that jail cell.
You are kidding me.
I got a candle in one hand. I got a bundle of dynamite in the other, Sheriff. Let my brother out that jail, or I light the fuse.
You move your hands 1 inch closer together, and I will put you in the ground, Barnabas.
Maybe, but that's an awful risk. If I light this fuse, even if you drop me, somebody's getting hurt. Maybe a lot of somebodies.
That might include your brother, you know.
Silas, get back.
Oh, is that the sawbones in there? Oh, this just gets better and better.
Please, there's no need for this to end violently. Why don't we all just let his brother go?
Doc Silas, I don't tell you how to tie a bandage. Show me the same courtesy, if you please.
I want the sawbones too, Sheriff. You send out my brother, you send out the sawbones so he can get what's coming to him.
Neither of those things are going to happen, Barnabas. I don't care if I have to sit here and wait until your candle's melted to a nub. I will contentedly sit here watching you like a hawk. You move in a way I don't like, and you die. It's that simple. I'm in no hurry.
Ah! Thundernation and blast!
What was that?
Does that mean Annie just went into labor?
The way my luck goes, almost certainly.
Oh, sweet potatoes and birdseed!
She cusses creatively, I'll give her that.
If there's a woman in labor, I should go.
Huckleberry marshmallows!
Aren't you supposed to be an educated man? You step out that door and he's going to kill you. Is that somehow not apparent?
I took an oath. I have to do what's right.
How is you being dead gonna help Annie's baby? Barnabas, I need to get this man to that woman giving birth, and I need to do it soon. I don't particularly want to kill you today, but you are leaving me very few options.
Please, no killing.
Oh, enough of this. Pick it up.
What?
Pick up the candle that you dropped when I shot it.
Why?
Do it.
All right. I got it, and... Ah!
Again.
But...
Now!
Fine, but it's only a half-inch longer than my hand now, and... Ah!
Has this sunken in yet? My daddy was the best trick shot artist this world ever saw, and I could outshoot him from the age of 12. I could have taken that candle out of your hands from 100 paces away, but if you ever give me a reason to pull a trigger in your direction again, I will not be aiming for the candle. Now get in that there jail cell with your brother.
Yes, ma'am.
That was
my deputy. And never forget, she's the second most dangerous lawman in this town.
Oh, so glad he's finally quiet. Healthy set of lungs on him, ain't they?
I believe that's hereditary.
Ain't he just the most precious little thing, Miss Jody?
He is, Annie.
Maybe someday you'll meet a feller and have one of your own.
Maybe. After I've imbibed enough alcohol to erase the memory of you giving birth in my saloon. And then there's all the mopping I have to do.
Oh, I'll get that for you.
Annie Montgomery, you are going to stay in that chair with that sleeping baby until your husband comes to get you two. I am not above tying you down on that chair if you make a motion to move a single muscle.
Oh, all right. Thank you again, Doctor, for coming out here.
Oh, no trouble. This was the kind of birth every doctor wants to be in attendance at. The kind where we don't really have to do much of anything.
Kitty, are you all right? Was the blessed event too traumatic for you?
No, it's not that. Silas, I'm sorry for what happened earlier. Jessie told me you're not very fond of guns, and I didn't want you to have to see that. It was just, well, I couldn't figure out what to do, and then Annie went into labor, and anyway, I'm sorry. I guess I better be going now.
Hey, don't forget your chess set, Kitty.
You play chess?
Not really. I got it for my birthday, but I don't exactly know how to play proper.
Well, I can help with that. I never thought I'd find a chess partner this far from the cities. There's a lot to do with setting up my practice here, but once that's settled, I'd be happy to teach you how to play. If that's amenable, of course.
Oh, you don't need to put yourself out, Doc. Caleb and me can... Ow!
Sorry, Sam. There was a mosquito buzzing about your ear. Had to shoo it away.
Did you have to twist my ear to do it?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So, is it all right if I come to see you sometime? To teach you chess, I mean.
I'd like that a lot.
Puppy love is a powerful thing. Stronger than bullets, stronger than dynamite, but apparently not stronger than a poorly carved chess set. But the peace and tranquility of a game of chess cannot last in the dangerous frontier that is the Wild West. What new danger shall befall the fair denizens of Sweet Ravine? And will Alex be able to save her town while her deputy is distracted by a doctor with a sweet smile? Tune in next time to find out. You've been listening to Rawhide Laww, Episode 7, produced by Seat of Our Pants Players, written and directed by Dan Wenzel. Alex was Jill Wenzel. Caleb was Dan Wenzel. Kitty was Brianna Kuby. Sam was Rick Tennant. Jody was Liz Music. Silas was Aaron Manka-White. Jessie was Rebecca Scheimer. Annie was Andy Gastengee. Barnabas was Andrew Dale. And Cletus was Adam Gastengee. Music and sound effects by www.freesfx.co.uk. Cowboy Sting and Fig Leaf ×2 by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. We'll see you next time, partners.